like 6 a.m. Get ready for work. Can't start my morning without a bagel and coffee or something like that. Sometimes I don't feel normal and shit.
Okay, your life's a movie. Who talking to? I guess we all gone bad. Ain't no going back.
What's up, podcast listeners? Bedroom Beethovens episode 5 is here. I haven't given up yet. We're still chugging along. Hope you guys are good. This week from sunny California, Rekstizzy joins me to talk about his life. Though he references his culture and his music, his songs resonate outside of the Asian American community. I didn't want to be boring and focus on that aspect. After all, we go way back together, back to the early 2010s, hustling, being web journalists, and I've had the privilege to see his career rise the ranks. As with other minority groups, several stereotypes have stood in the way of Asian American representation in hip-hop, from lack of originality to the rosy model minority myth that sits at odds with the rugged, struggle-based image of hip-hop. But it's 2019, and it's a beautiful thing because now, on the other hand, you have the internet's DIY capabilities, which allow my guest this week to cultivate success on his own terms. Rekstizzy recognizes the originality of his story, the unique resources he has, the friends he has at his disposal, and his power to take these first impressions about his heritage and flip them on their heads. He's got a podcast coming out soon, too. I thought I was the last guy on the planet to start a podcast. I take comfort knowing that I'm not. Shout out to Lamont Lander's band for the musical styles on this podcast. And I'm 5 episodes without sponsors. You're welcome. But I do have to sustain this show somehow. So I will soon be launching a Patreon to help support the show, and I'll let you guys know about that later. In the meantime, if you like what I'm doing, if you like the show, it's a labor of love. Love, my friend. So leave me an iTunes review, or subscribe, or email me smiley face emojis. Whatever you want to do. I appreciate any and all of it. All right, episode 5, Rekstizzy. Leap. I'm Cello, and
It's the Bedroom Beethoven Podcast.
we go back.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
I feel bad because I'm catching you off of work. I'm catching you off a full day at work, and I'm not getting a fresh Rekstizzy. I'm getting a tired, just got off work Rekstizzy.
Don't ever say that. I'm never too tired. We ready for whatever.
But I went to your YouTube and I saw some Red Dead videos, so I know you got some leisure time. That's a long game. That's a 40-hour, 50-hour game.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of open world adventuring. I went from Red Dead 2 to straight into Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, I've heard that game will take over your life, so I've been hesitant.
Which one?
Odyssey, I hear, is just fucking huge. The thing with Red Dead that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth is I was having a great time, and right when you're about to beat the game, you switch characters to that one guy, and you got to make a better life for you and your wife and kid. So you have to like plant wheat and gather hay, and I was like, okay, menial tasks, it'll pick up, but now you got to fill buckets of water, paint barn doors, and then you got to like make beans for dinner and sew overalls, and then the fucking credits come up. That shit, I was like, I could have done without all of that.
I think you did that because I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, is there multiple endings? Because it was a really boring fucking ending where I just had to work on a farm.
I did maybe like 30 minutes of chores, you know? And then I think maybe she wanted me to do other shit, but I was like, I'm gonna get on my horse. I'll be right back. I gotta be right back. I promise.
But thanks, brother, for being here. I know how tight knit you Asians are. You only do shows and things for other Asians. I feel like I'm in the group. Thanks for showing me love.
Damn.
That's just from my observation. But you know what? Since we last talked, I married a Korean. I got Korean kids, man.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in it.
You've infiltrated.
Yeah, man. I got little Korean kids running around now.
Oh, hey, congrats. Let me
Thank
say
you, man.
congrats.
Thank you, man.
For a second, I was like, wait, am I supposed to say something here?
Well, I mean that's my highlight reel. Since we last talked, you got the documentary, you had the Kawaii for Men, you got music videos, podcasts, new albums. You make me feel unproductive as shit. I just got married. That's all I did.
You've used your productive organs, so let's say it's balanced. Yeah, it's we evened it out. You know what I'm saying?
I want to talk about this new Dragon Ball Z movie. What'd you think?
I thought it was. I didn't watch it.
Me either. I remember.
What the fuck?
I remember going home from middle school every day for 4 months to watch like a Majin Buu arc, and then him progressing to his final form and beating everybody's ass. And now you got some god who's like 10 times more powerful than him, and all he wants to do is eat bread pudding all day. And I'm like, I'm not with that. It's just times are changing, and I don't like it. It's not the same.
I watched the movie, the God movie, and I thought it was cool. Like, they needed to add like some like OP, like some wild, somebody just can destroy everything. Because like you need Goku to have a challenge. Because by the end, you're like nobody's fucking with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they gave a family to Vegeta, which doesn't make any sense because he's fucking intense all the time.
But it's usually those type of people who end up having a family and they all change, and then there's those like random nights where the rage comes out, the old Vegeta's back,
Yeah.
But Dragon Ball. The thing is, like, I really enjoyed Dragon Ball when I was growing up. It was like one of those things where it was special to me because, like, as an Asian kid, I was like, going to school, everybody was up on like Power Rangers and all that stuff, and I was like, yo, and everybody was watching like Batman and like Spider-Man, all those things, and then I was like, yo, I got this thing that only like me and my brother know about, and it was like Dragon Ball. So it's like, it's kind of weird seeing everyone else. Like, it's been around for years now, like decades. So like everybody's up on it. It's nothing new. You watch that movie Boyhood with Richard Linklater directed, and like he has like Dragon Ball sheets, or blanket, whatever. But yeah, so I grew up with it. I loved it when I was younger. But since then, I watched so much anime that was like, I feel like way more complex and like layered. And like even like the fighting ones too, like Naruto and like One Piece, I feel like it's way crazier than Dragon Ball. So I just never really got back. I don't know. I haven't watched any Dragon Ball Super yet.
Well, let's talk about that. Your childhood and where you grew up. Where was this?
I grew up in Queens.
So you're close to Queens, the New York culture obviously resonated with you growing up. Was it?
Absolutely.
Was it a musical household? Was it an environment where you could say, "Yo, mom, I'm going to be a famous rapper someday"?
It was musical. It was musical in the way that a lot of Asians grew up, like piano lessons. Your brother's going to a cello recital. My mom's trying to put us on to Yo Yo Ma. But when it comes to like music, like rap music, it's like, nah, chill. So I grew up never thinking that it was a possible career.
It's funny because my wife is enrolling my daughter in violin lessons, and I'm wondering if I married like a cliche. No rap music. Yeah, it's Yo Yo Ma all day. Learn your chords, go in your room, study.
If I were her, I would like have her learn from somebody that teaches like jazz, styles where it's like they learn more like music theory instead of just memorization. Because how like we grew up. A lot of Asians just learn memorization, like learn this song, learn that song, and practice it. But like you go to like the jazz, like they could just play off of the other instrument, whoever's doing something else, and it's just like they're jamming, and then that's fun.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
like,
sense because she hates it. She hates lessons. But
dude, I hated lessons, bro. I would pass out while playing. I would literally, my head would bang on the keys, and my teacher's like, "What is wrong with this kid?" Like, that happened many times. And then I think my mom was like, "All right, like he's just napping during the
yeah,
lessons."
I quit my lessons because I felt guilt that my mom was paying for lessons and I wasn't into it. So I told her I quit, and she let me.
So you
And
quit? Yeah. There's no quitting for us. It's just like it's either just they like try to beat us into it, or beat us into submission, or they just give up. They're like, it's not working.
so last time we talked to you, were on the East Coast. Now you wanted me to book this in like 2 hours before. So you're in the West Coast. You're in LA, right?
Yeah.
So much has changed. What were you
Uh,
seeing like dumb success, and maybe you thought, you know what, LA is playing a bigger part in that, and I'm moving. What
um,
about that along?
I wouldn't say it's dumb success. I would just say that in New York, I felt like I was hitting kind of a plateau. Like I was playing a lot of the same venues. And yeah, I was like moving around. I was looking at the scene, how it was kind of disappearing. There's stuff going on, but it's in small pockets. Whereas every time I came to LA, there was like some party going off, and it was way more popping. And honestly, we just kind of framed it in like a musical sense. But the real reason why I moved was because it's not snowing here.
The weather.
Weather is great, and I'm like a very like weather plays a big part of my mood and just overall outlook. So I'm out here and just like it's beautiful every day. Meanwhile, I'm back when I go home, it's like raining on my head, and then I'm running to avoid raindrops, or it's like wind is beating my face up, or I'm trying to even like in terms of music, I'm trying to plan a music video shoot, and we're spending money to make this happen. We're getting these people to come through, and then we're worried about if it's going to rain or not.
This is
And that's
beautiful. I'm talking to a happier overall Rekstizzy then. Like
oh man.
yeah.
I wake up no matter what's going on. I wake up, I look out the window, and the sun's smiling right back at me.
Can I bring up something sensitive? You schooled me years ago in private. You probably don't remember this. A lot of rappers say that they're. I'm not talking about you. We were having a general conversation.
Okay.
A lot of rappers say that they're born and raised in New York. Pick a borough, but they could very well be from DMV or Jersey. But it ain't kosher to say you're from Jersey. You can't expose that part. You have to say, I don't know, for marketing, or if you're filling out your MySpace profile, you got to say you're from New York.
So like I had a homegirl, right? She grew up in Jersey all her life, and then she just moved to Brooklyn like a week before, and then all of a sudden she's like her social media and all that stuff. It was like, yo, like New York, just a New York girl or some shit. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of people want to move to the city, to the heart of it, but yeah, it's whatever. I honestly like people. So I lived in Jersey for a little bit too. Like, my parents moved there after I moved to college. I mean, after I went to college, and then, I wasn't. I didn't get an apartment. Like, I mean, I did for a little bit, and then I had to move back because just ends. I graduated in a rough time. Jobs are scarce. I was like doing all I could. Doing all these internships, working for free for a lot. And it's like, damn, you can't just get an apartment, So
Yeah.
I'm living at home, and people are like, yo, why don't you rep Jersey? You live in Jersey. I'm like, but this is like a very small percentage of my life. You know what I mean? My formative years up to college, all that was in New York. I'm like, how? Like honestly, I couldn't tell you anything about my area outside of my block of where I lived. It's like
Yeah,
I just woke up and then went straight for the city and then came back and slept. So it's like rep Jersey. Why? I don't. You know what I mean?
yeah. You're
But
not
if
putting
I
Jersey on your back.
yeah, but if I did live there, if I grew up there, hell yeah, I'd rep Jersey. Fuck it. A lot of a lot of great musical acts came from Jersey. It's it gets shitted on a lot, but I like being underdog. Like I would embrace that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm from Jersey, and now I'm here. You know,
Yeah, and you and your friends like fucking. They're at the Oscars and hosting SNL, and you got all these shows, and you're part of
shout out to
documentaries.
Aquafina. Hell yeah.
That's crazy, and it's like the only reason why I know about those people is because I was friends with you back in like '02, not '02, 2012, 2013. I'm in Texas, so unless you
Yeah.
dig for that kind of information, it's not going to fall across your lap. So
Yeah.
I've been in the background just kind of looking at you guys and seeing y'all's success. And I was first introduced to you because I had a website where I was interviewing people, and I interviewed Chops. He made that Strength in Numbers record. And I remember he was frustrated because I know he wanted the Mountain Brothers to kind of take off more, but the resources and talent and drive, he said, or he told me, it wasn't there until one day he just looked around and saw like all these Asian American creatives just busting out, and he wanted to capitalize on that. Like, what was your experience like on that record? Did he personally reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Chops. That's like the big homie. I used to listen to him and the Mountain Brothers when I was, like 8th grade. Like, wow. Like there's Asian rappers that are actually really good and they was funny as hell. So like, cause like me and my friends were stoners. We're stoners in 8th grade and shit. And like listening to even their skits, they had like this one intro to a song where they're like, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
Mountain Brothers. That shit was hilarious. Like me, and you understand around this time, I'm listening to a lot of like, New York rap. Like I think I bought the Mountain Brothers record along with Big L and Bumpy Knuckles, Industry Shakedown. So yeah, just seeing that, it was like wow, like there's Asian rappers that are funny, clever, and musically tight, and the bars are tight. Being in an online era, like I just looked them up, and then I started talking to them like through Twitter, I believe, and then yeah, we just formed a relationship, and then he actually, asked me like, do you think this idea would be dope? I was like, yeah, of course, and doing the music over your beats and stuff, it's like it's a no brainer.
I know I'm grasping onto the little details here, but you were smoking weed in middle school, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Cello lessons and
Well, first of all, Cello is my brother. I don't smoke that much weed anymore because I don't know, man. I just get too high, bro.
well, that's
It's
LA
like
weed,
Yeah. I used to, I was a pothead until I was in college, and then I just started kind of weaning off, and then I think I started drinking more, and then I think when I was smoking a lot of weed in like high school, I was like kind of numb to everything, like, and it was just making me kind of a dick to people. And I realized as I started smoking less, I was becoming a nicer person. I don't know
It's
how
usually
that
the
is.
opposite effect, but that's
Yeah. Weed was like helping me like just become numb.
Well, like I said, you quit smoking. You're in a better place, better location. The future's bright.
Right. I mean, I still smoke. Like the last few times I smoked, it was because like I was trying to hit on a girl and she was smoking like, and then like if you're not smoking and she's with the other group that's smoking, it's just like it sucks and you're like fuck I'll fucking take a hit, and then I'm just high as shit. I'm like paranoid. Yeah, but yeah. So I'll smoke here and there, but like I'm not trying to do it every day because I just start thinking about every interaction I had. I start thinking about like, oh man, I shouldn't have said this. I should have done that. And then I can't be like that. I don't like that feeling.
Well, working with Chops, a lot of people put him on a pedestal, like he's a legend. It needs to go down the same route. Like, do you ever see yourself working with like DJ Babu or Rhetoric or maybe how about like you put out a mixtape with you over like New JV's beats or something? Like you ever thought about that?
Of course, the last person you mentioned, we can't RP,
Yeah.
but
He's the Asian Dilla, I would say.
yeah, if it happens, it happens. You know, honestly, you know, those guys are legends to, you know, they're legends, the, you know, Asian artists that did it right. The Asian thing, I think a lot of times it's easier to work with Asians because like there's that similar, like we get each other, you know? It's like,
Yeah, my hope is like, you know, you'll go to my website and you'll be like, oh, let me see this long list of people that he's interviewed. Maybe one of them has nice beats and I can work with them. Because back in the day, I was introduced to a lot of people through you. I interviewed Danny
Right.
Chung, Chops, Mike B, Decipher, Eric Lau, Glitch Mob,
Right.
Steve Aoki, and I didn't have the confidence or authority to interview a lot of those people. It just kind of happened,
right.
and it kind of snowballed my love and my interest. It
I
kind of
want to
started
work
there.
with Steve Aoki.
That dude was not kind to me. He was kind of he was kind of mean to me, but
Why?
you know.
What happened?
So I interviewed him, and he just got off of a plane, so he was tired, and he wasn't trying to answer anything. You know,
Yeah, you know, you gotta, you know, you gotta understand.
you got to catch people at the right time. So I like that I can reach out to you, like you're not. I'm not gonna say you're not big enough, but you still reply to tweets. You know, there's going to be a time where someone else is going to be running your Twitter account, or you might just miss it because you're doing a show or you're doing this and that.
I mean, I think you know, I'm doing this music while I'm like self-aware. Like even today, like I, you know, some dude, I went to the coffee shop and some dude recognized me, and then he's like, "Yo, can I take a picture?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then, you know, it's like I'm gonna be hella chill because I know I'm not a little dick, you know. But I'm not saying Stevie Aoki was. I totally get that. You know what it is? Sometimes people want to interview me. They'll hit me up, and then I'll do the interview even though I don't want to, because like I could just tell like it's not gonna be. They're gonna hit me like really generic questions, stuff like that. But I still do it, you know, show love, and then like the interview will never come out, or like they'll just use like a weird ass like old pic of me, or you know, like there's all these things where like at a certain point I get it, like the people that they're really big, because it's like, yo, like, you know, some people are gonna just waste your time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thanks for the leap of faith. And
Nah, you good. I seen your shit. Your shit was, you know, even back then it was on point. You know.
yeah, well, let's talk about that because I feel like there was a rift between us, and maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but like the gum ship days, you know, our mutual homies, Gloss Black, and it was a great website. I don't know. It was coincidentally like we kept interviewing the same people, or I would try to book somebody and they're like, "Nah, I'm doing gum ship, so I got to break our date." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if this is a big deal, but I remember I forgot who the guest was, but he literally blew me off to do your website, and I was just like, what is going on here?"
Well, yeah. For those who don't know what Gumship is, I started an Asian men's lifestyle blog.
I remember the
And, you know,
girls, a lot of girls on there.
Yeah, because you know, I grew up reading. I grew up off like Maxim and like all those like Lad Mag, like you know, men's magazines, and those things always like I love those. You know, like there's girls, and then there's like something about style, and then like some, you know, dope like interview. So I kind of want to do that, but for Asians. So yeah, it was cool. I had a lot of fun doing that. Met a lot of people. I think I broke a lot of, you know, dope like news and stuff like that.
It's a lot of work.
I don't know. It
huh?
just was. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was more than that. It was like just not as interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to cover more and go outside. Even like so, my podcast that I'm working on right now. You know, there was a Gumption podcast, which was like interviewing Asians who are in creative fields and stuff like that. But that ceiling is, you know, as high as it can be. I want to do a podcast about friendship, something that anybody can really get into, you know? but do it my way, do it my own twist.
Is it more like these are the conversations I have with my boys? But this time I'm just gonna
No,
hit the
no,
record button.
no, definitely not. It's not
Okay.
like a dorm room situation. I think that friendship is the probably the most important thing in life. When you're even finding like your wife, that's kind of like a friendship, you know.
Yeah, we grew up together. I knew her since 5th grade, so for sure.
There you go. Well, even if you know haven't grew up with your significant other, that's still like kind of like your best friend, you know, because you're there with them all the time. And I think that nobody really talks about it on a day to day, you know, like it's weird. It's almost like you're expected to know how to be a friend, but then there's all these like little like you know, people get passive aggressive, like people get butthurt over these things, and I just want to like explore all of that, you know, and like I'm gonna have guests where it's like two friends, and then we're gonna just talk about like how they met and like why they're friends and stuff like that. It's just gonna be like a guide to friendship.
That's a
Should be good.
great idea for a show. It's gonna translate really well.
Thank you. I think, and I don't think I'm the best friend, but I think um, I have enough empathy where I can, and you know me, I'm not afraid to like say like wild shit or like push buttons and like or be sympathetic. You know, I don't have like this wall. You know, I'm honest, so I think it could be good. We gotta have some funny, really funny discussions and like some even heartfelt ones. And yeah, it's gonna be called Best Friend Con. Hopefully, it's out by the time this comes out. If not, just follow me on Instagram.
What happened to your URL, man? Rekstizzy.com.
Dude,
It's
I
gone.
don't know. I just forgot to pay. Yeah, someone owns that. Whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm. Hey, go on my Instagram. You get all the updates for anything I'm doing. You know.
Yeah, I'm like I never used Instagram until I started this podcast, and it's hard. I got
Yeah,
like 8 followers. I don't know what I'm doing,
that's all
but
right. You'll
I'm
get
just
you'll
gonna
fit.
follow your formula. You seem to be doing all right. But the gumship and the podcast and was that the gateway to ISA TV, like the Kauai for Men? Like you had a real budget now to go out and explore and document Flushing's, Queens, people, culture the way you wanted to on a bigger scale. Is that kind of how that opportunity came?
Um, no, actually, ISA TV. Shout out to Dan, aka Dan, and DPD. They reached out and they were just like, "Hey, we should do something together," you know. And then, yeah, Kawaii for Men was like my first pitch, and they were like, "Hey, we love the idea. Let's do it." So they came out here. We shot. I put the guests together, I put the themes together, and then they helped me execute it. And yeah, so the Kawaii for Men season 1 here. I went out to LA, shot season 2, and then they were like, "This isn't getting that many hits, so we're gonna kill it."
Just like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be a joke. It's all good, I had fun doing it. The people that watched it love love the series. You know, like I every now and then, like I even get like a rapper homie that I think wouldn't fuck with it at all, and then they'll still like randomly send me like a quote from like the intros. Like you ever uh you ever walk a bunny to his first day of school or some shit, like this shit that I used to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just like, damn, like people really fuck with it. Like people like every now and then would just be like, yo, when you bring that shit back, that was my shit. So like I think honestly the audience maybe on the channel wasn't ready for it. Some, but I'm not mad at it. I'm glad they gave me the opportunity. You seen it, so it's a fun show.
I wanted to talk about that because like the socio-cultural aspects of like K-pop trying to make kawaii associated with men. I feel like K-pop male bands probably couldn't make it in the US because of the fact that they have this stigma of being too girly or too feminine. Like what if you're a
Yeah.
hip hop artist? How do people perceive you if someone who's supposed to be hard and fucking dope and all that? And you were like bridging that gap and breaking down the norms and like exposing people to new things. No one's doing that.
I think already without even me contributions to that, like the culture is going that way. You know, you go to schools now, everyone's just like very respectful of like, you know, like the whole like gendered fluidity thing. Like everyone's like already moving in that direction. I was just, you know, following my own like little like, oh, let me bring down this wall of like trying to be, you know, a tough guy all the time, you know, and just like let me just embrace the kawaii, you know, like I say in the show. And yeah, you know what's funny? I actually worked at a Sanrio store. Like one of the many jobs that I had when I made the transition to LA. Like when I was in between jobs, I worked at a Sanrio store and sold like Hello Kitty dolls.
I remember dating a girl and she had the frogs everywhere and the Choco Cats, and that was
Oh
kind of my
yeah, the
introduction.
Keropi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I love that job. It just if they paid like really well,
You still
I
be
might
there.
I would just be doing that. Yeah, and making music, you know? Cuz like cuz I would kill it too cuz honestly all day the day would go by fast cuz like we'd always get new shipment of new products and I would just like sit there and like as I'm like organizing or whatever, I just look at all the shit and then just like fill me with joy, man. You know, like the whole Marie Kondo spark
Oh yeah,
joy thing.
yeah.
That's like me. That was me, like for my whole shift.
That's dope though.
Yeah, and
How?
then people would come in, like a mother and daughter would come in, and
Yeah.
it's like they're looking at stuff, and I'm like, I wonder what they would want, and then I would just like pull down like a big like body pillow that's like you know, and I'd just be like, yo, this might be the one, and then they'd be like, wow, and then I show them like if you unzip this part of the pillow, it becomes like it's like a cinnamon roll, a cinnamon roll slice, and then just like, yo, this is tight. And then they just be like, yo, thank you so much for your help. Like, kind of like, they're like, yo, at first they're like, what the fuck? Like, why is this weird ass dude with a fucking apron on, like, approaching us? But yeah, like, they would be all thankful, like, and I just feel good that you know, hopefully brought some sparked, had them bring home an item that sparked joy. And yeah, man.
I can relate. When my daughter turned 2, I went to one of those joints. I went to a parking garage. I walked 3 blocks over, and I got a giant Hello Kitty. Those things are fucking expensive, but I got it. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be like Dad of the Year. I
Yeah.
had this giant Hello Kitty in my arm, and I walked 3 blocks back to the parking garage. And I swear to you, I haven't had so many girls hit on me. So many girls hit on me like, oh, is that for your daughter? Oh, you must be a great dad. Oh, that's so cute. Can I see a picture of her? I've never seen anything like that in my life.
It's amazing. You know, they want to see men show that sensitive side.
Yeah.
It's the most manliest thing you can do.
An interesting observation I always had, and this is me personally. I hate referring to you guys as Asian American rappers. I just want to call you guys MCs. That's it. But every
Okay.
time, like I see an interview with Dumb, he's always calling attention to it, so he can kind of put the culture on his back. And I feel like a lot of you guys in his camp, his friends, etc., feel the same way. And here's the observation I always had at the beginning of the decade. And you know this because you and I talked about this like 7-8 years ago. There was a singer named Hey June. He was on American Idol. He had that single with Pusha T, not Surgical Summer Daytona Pusha T. This was the I'm trying to get on the radio and my label wanted me to promote a new guy, Pusha T. But here's the thing, you have David, Nora, Jonathan. I don't know that you're Asian. Rekstizzy, Aquafina, Dumbfounded. I still don't know that you're Asian. But then you have this dude named Hey June. Yeah, that dude's Asian. But if you listen to his song, there's no Asian cultural lyrics. There's no Asian imagery. If you listen to the song on the radio, you would never know that he was Asian. But it's interesting that he kept his name Hey June. I want you to talk to this because you have longevity, and he didn't. He had one song and disappeared. What did he do wrong? It was a good song. He had a good voice, and now he's like in K-pop, like full time. He was like, this ain't working. I'm gonna go back.
Is he doing well, flourishing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's hosting a very popular K-pop. It's like The Voice K-pop over there in Korea.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Because you guys are doing everything right. You guys are talented, but you're also promoting the culture, and you're successful. And you got to know what you're doing. You can't sit there and wake up every day and think your success is an accident.
One thing about like, the Korean approach or K-pop approach to trying to make it big in America is like they just like shoot their whole load off of, on one single instead of like building them up, putting out a mixtape and another mixtape and or multiple songs. It's like, all right, we got one chance, bang, let's put all our money into it, bang, and then if it doesn't succeed, then it's like, all right, fuck it, abandon ship. Whereas like in America, there are artists that do that and then they do well, but a lot of times you want to see them go from having like 20 people at their shows and then doing this song and then, oh shit, like they're getting featured from this guy who's big. They want to see that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, this guy's somebody you should be paying attention to, and then take it or leave it. Uh-oh, the window's closing. All right, fuck it, you left it.
Every time I check in on you, you're more successful than the last time I checked in on you. And I know that shit ain't an accident. And I want to see more like Asian rappers, Asian American singers thrive. And that's what this podcast is about. I like exploring people's stories and this and that.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that, I'm like super successful either. I mean, I'm still like trying to get my shit popping, I think. It's good for me. I feel good about it. But I'm not at the level where I want to be at, like very far from it. You can't get anybody else to spit the rhymes that I do and not have like heads be like,
Rap is so much about swag. Why do your friends like to be around you? Because they like you. So you find out what those elements are and you put them into your music. You put yourself into your music because the same things that people gravitate towards you in real life, I think you figured out that if you inject that into your music, your fans are going to gravitate around you for the same reasons. It's the same thing that's not going to make you a clone.
I think it took me a while from like me being a fan and like trying to emulate rappers that I liked. And then now like kind of, I think, it wasn't that long ago where I kind of found my real like true voice, where I can still be like, just like wild and crazy, but then I can like soften it up and then I could spit like this. And then I could just be like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I brought all the elements together where it's all me. So now I'm still, trying to make that translate. But I do feel very comfortable in my skin, at this point. And very comfortable as who I am as an artist, and even just embracing the frogs and doing this green shit. Like, people, I think they gravitate towards that.
Yeah, this week I was listening to the Higher Brothers and I wasn't feeling it because it just felt like just trap music. I don't know, and I don't know. I don't like. I know you like trap music or more gangster music, but
I love trap. I like the Higher Brothers. I think they're doing what's true to them.
Do you though? Do you really think so?
Yeah, why not? I mean, think about it like this. Take away that they're from China, but like. Everybody has the internet, man. Like, somebody from New York can grow up listening to somebody from the South, and then that's gonna influence their style much more than a New York artist that came before, So it's like, who's to say he can't rap like a Southern rapper, and he has to rap like a New York rapper? But that is not gonna be true to him. You know what I mean? So these Higher Brothers are rapping and doing trap music very well. I mean, it's music at the end of the day. Nobody's trying to purchase drugs off them. This is music.
Like the younger generation is what we hear on the radio. It's more about frequency and sound than like the lyrics. I think people talk about mumble rap because they don't understand that the important thing is like the vibration, not the words. The kids need the vibrations because their attention span is about 3 seconds. It's about the words,
Honestly, if I had to choose one, I would pick like music and how it sounds over the lyrics of it. Hold up, let me just clarify that. Like, so if I had to choose between someone that's not making any sense at all and I don't know what he's saying, but he sounds hella good doing it, versus like a dude that's like saying the most mind-blowing shit, but it sounds terrible to my ears. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
just like the beat is like all like messed up and like they're offbeat and just like their voice sounds terrible. Like I don't want to hear that shit. I'll read it. I'll like say a speech or something. Don't do music. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, music comes first.
and I'm glad you said that too, because like, dude, you don't. I don't think you get enough like credit for your production. You can't be serious. Sea levels. I mean, that shit's
Oh
good,
yeah.
man. It's good.
Nah, it's all good though. I don't want to be known as a producer. You know, I did that one. I did. You know, I dabble in beats like just for fun because like it's just fun to do.
Oh
But
no!
I'm
If one track in every one of your CDs should be self produced. That's my opinion. It's good. It's really
hey
good.
man,
It's
I
really
might you
good.
know I might you know maybe I'll do some more of that. But yeah, I just have more like I just have like hella respect for like the producers that I do work with. Like I look at what they do. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't. I'm not touching that. You know.
Well, for me, it's like if you're an actor and you work with all these directors for like 10, 15 years, you're going to pick up on it and you're going to want to direct a movie yourself because you've been
Yeah.
in the presence.
Yeah, but you know what though? I'd rather focus. Like when they're making the beats, I'm focused on my writing. You know.
Okay.
So
I see what it's
it's
just.
cool though. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Like I did enjoy putting out. You can't be serious and like yeah, definitely like really vibed out with that beat and just my lyrics. Like it was definitely it did feel good to like put out a full just a full production by me. I mean, I did have a little help from my homie Marcus making the beat feel more full and everything. But yeah, man, that was great. It was a good
You said
one.
it was a fun process. Was there any frustration? Like I'm trying to produce a sound that I got in my head. I just can't. I
Nah,
can't
you know
materialize it.
those beats. So when I'm doing those beats, there's no because I know I'm not a producer, so I have no like no. There's no stress, no pressure. I'm just like literally just tapping away and just like fuck it, and then I'm not even thinking of like I gotta get a placement or I'm gonna rap over this. I'm just like let me play with this sound. Let me tinker with this hi hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't make as much music as you wanted because I guess you were getting settled. And like, what this year is
Yeah.
like the year for music.
Yeah. I'm working on my album right now. It's coming out really good.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about like saving the reveal, whatever. It's gonna be called Young Adult Fiction, and yeah, man, it's a fun album, man.
Cool, man. Can I ask you one final question that's kind of a general topic?
What's up?
What's your opinion on this larger discussion happening now about whether we can separate the art from the artist, like XXX Tension or R. Kelly or whomever?
Tentacion. I just separate the art from the artist. If I can, I'll try not to support them, like put money in their pocket. But I am a strong believer in like once that music leaves their mind or whatever, it's its own entity.
Fair
And then
enough.
once you listen to that song, you form your own relationship to it. But yeah, it's a touchy subject, and everyone's different. I obviously don't want to like tell other people how to think, but that's how I think.
Yeah.
And because if you want to go ahead and like go to every musical achievement or every song or even like achievements in culture and like agriculture, architecture, and like medicine and all that stuff. Like, there's all these people that have done these great art, these great works, but they might be the shittiest people. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna cancel everything. We're gonna cancel like anything where anybody was being shitty. You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
they're trying to do. But like the thing is like you can't cancel like Michael Jackson's music. He's too good.
Yeah,
He's too fucking good. You know what
yeah.
I'm
But
saying?
but there's I don't I don't know if what the allegations are true. Whatever you did.
No, no, but they're coming out with a documentary to try to.
Yeah, I heard about that. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, so that's what I'm saying. I can't. It's like a very slippery slope. Like I'm just listening to the music as it is because I also feel like when we create or whatever, I also do feel like it's inspired. It's like the closest we get to like being like a god or whatever, or being like a vessel for like that art. And then once it comes out, it's like sometimes people are like, I don't even know how I made that, you know?
Yeah.
It's not theirs anymore in a way.
Shit.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a very touchy subject, man.
I wanted to get
But
your
that's
opinion on it though, because I
no,
respect your
absolutely.
opinion.
I'll tell anybody. Like that's how I feel. I mean, if they're gonna, and then people tend to get emotional, and then they want to be like, oh, like, you know, like how you gonna like honestly, I'm not gonna like fight them on it and be like, I'm not gonna start arguing back. I can't. You can't. Sometimes you just can't because like that's how they feel, but then this is how I feel. So I'm just like, you know what? I respect your opinion. If you want to cancel somebody off of what they did, you want to cancel their music, fine. Just me, I can't. I don't know. Fuck R. Kelly though.
Well, reunited and it feels so good, man. Thanks, big bro, for being available and chopping it up with me for an hour. Appreciate
Yo,
it, man.
man. Yo, much success to this, man. I hope you get a lot of listeners, and because even back then when you had Japan Cinema, you was doing
I
cosplay
made no
stuff.
money off that, man.
Yeah, because you was driven by that curiosity. You did it for the love. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
hope you do make money off this. I'm sure you could get a Audible sponsorship, a little Squarespace code. You know what I'm saying? But
No,
that's
I'll
what it
take
is,
I'll
man.
take a Blue Chew or a fucking any sponsorship. But I would say I'll return the favor and do your podcast, but fuck, I'm a nobody. I'd add zero value to what you're
Oh
doing. So
man.
I'll be a listener though, and I'll promote you and do anything I can.
We'll have you as a guest, man. You gotta find out. You gotta figure out who your best friend is, though.
Oh shit! I mean, I got married. All my friends went away, man.
So maybe we gotta have your wife on you.
That's what's up, man.
That's on you to decide if
They say don't do a home remodel project and don't go on a podcast together, and you'll be all right. But we'll make it happen. Last thing, where can people find you? Not your website, but I imagine SoundCloud, Instagram, all that good stuff. Where can they get you?
So yeah, Instagram is mostly where I put all the updates. Instagram.com REKSTIZZY. If you want to listen to my music, Spotify is always good. They kick me like a couple cents every listen. I'm actually streaming on Twitch a lot now, trying to get that popping. So yeah, twitch.tv/Rekstizzy. Leave a follow, subscribe. And then the podcast is coming.
That's
Young
what's
Adult
up.
Fiction album dropping soon. Appreciate you, man.
Rekstizzy, you're a good man. Thank you.